The Battle of Centaria Bay was one of two major naval battles during the War of 1912. Today we will be diving into this battle, and everything from what led up to it to the end result. Following the Southern Shore's Army's costly victory at the Battle of O'Neill Air Base, the Falamurans now realized that their supply lines were dangerously exposed. So instead, they started shipping their supplies by sea rather than by land. To counter this, the Southern Shore's Navy sent the SSNS Belcourt, a pre-dreadnought battleship, to blockade North Harbor and sink every ship in sight. However, the garrison on nearby Cutter Island spotted the SSNS Belcourt on April 1st, and on the night of April 4th, under the cover of darkness, the FFS Spring Prairie, a frigate cruiser, was sent to intercept. The ships unknowingly sailed towards each other, and on the day of April 6th, the battle would commence. And the location for this duel of steel was Centaria Bay. It was a foggy morning on April 6th when the two ships engaged each other. Spring Prairie had spotted the Belcourt first, and with that, the engagement began. The FFS Spring Prairie sunk minutes later. Her ironclad-era armor proved no match for a modern battleship. The damage SSNS Belcourt received was largely superficial. Although there was a large fire, it would later be extinguished and the damage would later be repaired. The entire Falamuran Navy before 1912 was just 4 ships, 2 frigate cruisers, and 2 torpedo boats. The loss of the FFS Spring Prairie greatly impacted the morale of the Falamuran sailors, who now believed that facing the Southern Shore's Navy was a suicide mission. The SSNS Belcourt would succeed in destroying 2 coastal batteries, only to be critically damaged and forced to withdraw by a third. Well, that's gonna do it for this week's video. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. The Battle of Two Forks was the last major naval battle in the Falamuran campaign. Today we'll be diving into this battle, from what led up to it to the end result. By mid-1912, Falamura was in a tough spot. The Falamuran Federal Army had just lost the Battle of Holttown around a week prior. This exposed the North Harbor's flank, and as a last resort, the Falamurans deployed their Capital Guards Regiment in order to plug a gap in their front lines and stop a sneak attack on their capital. On June 8th, a Falamuran torpedo boat, the FFS Vulcan spotted the distinct mast of the SSNS Belcour. The ship's crew quickly radioed in the Belcour's position and turned back to port. And while it was true that the Belcour was sailing north again, it wasn't true that she was sailing alone. A naval squadron was quickly put together with the remainder of the Falamuran Navy, consisting of one Spring Prairie-class frigate cruiser and two Vulcan-class torpedo boats. On the other hand, you have the SSNS Belcour, a ship that needs no introduction, and two Centurion-class gunboats, which are mainly coastal but were brought along for support reasons. The two fleets sailed towards each other, with the Falamurans not knowing that the Belcour was sailing with escorts, and the Southern Shore's Navy expecting resistance of some kind. The battle was set. The location for this battle was Two Forks. Now the Falamuran plan was simple. Use torpedoes to disable the Belcour, and then use gunfire to finish it off. What they didn't know was that the Belcour had escorts, so the second their torpedo boats moved up to start their plan, they were spotted. And with that, the battle began. One by one, the torpedo boats commenced their attack, unknowing of the dangers that awaited them. The crew realized that a run on the SSNS Belcour was now impossible, and they frantically tried to fire off their torpedo and disengage. But then the other torpedo boat fared little better, though they were successfully able to warn the Golden Forest, the frigate cruiser, of the situation, which gave them critical time to disengage. The warnings and sacrifices of the torpedo boats, along with the Southern Shore's Navy not knowing that there was a frigate cruiser nearby, allowed the Golden Forest to successfully disengage back to North Harbor and warn the Falamurans of what's to come. The battle at Two Forks had far-reaching impacts. The Southern Shores now believed their navy was unbeatable, and the Falamurans now viewed their navy with concern. They maybe just now had realized that neglecting their navy for 20 years wasn't such a great idea. The Falamuran defeat at Two Forks was one of many factors that led up to the Falamuran surrender at the Battle of North Harbor a few weeks later. Alright everyone, that's going to do it for this week's video. Make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see ya in the next one.